Hello, hello. Hi, everybody, to our live viewing audience. My name is Farah Lawal Harris. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I'm the artistic director of Young Playwrights Theater. Thank you so much for joining us for our February 2021 live Q&A for the workshop reading of this discussion of our Young Playwrights in Progress play, Matsuyanda. I'm here with our playwright, Adanna Paul. Just wave for the audience, Adanna, and say hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I want to start off by congratulating you, Adanna, on writing such a beautiful piece and thanking you for allowing us to work on it. I'd also like to extend thanks to our talented actors, Morgan Sharese and China Palmer, as well as our very hardworking video editor, Anthony Amos, and our YPT team that's been working diligently behind the scenes to pull this off. For everyone who's unfamiliar, Young Playwrights in Progress, or we call it YPIP for short, is a season-long script development program where I work alongside playwrights. This season, we're working with two. Adanna is one of them, to develop and workshop their original full-length plays. So Adanna and I have been meeting monthly since the month of August 2020 to develop her play Matsuyanda. For those of you who are viewing this Q&A discussion live, we'll be taking questions and feedback from you about the virtual reading of Matsuyanda, which just premiered here on YouTube. You can enter your feedback and your questions in the live chat function on YouTube, and we'll do our best to address all of them. If you missed the virtual workshop reading, you can find the link for it in the description box of YouTube. It'll still be available, so you can always go back and watch it and leave comments for Adanna about your experience with her piece. So Adanna, again, congratulations. I just have to say it's been a pleasure working with you during this time. It's also been amazing just to watch this play develop from what was about 8 pages to what it is now in this short period of months. I'm just so proud of you, of the progress you've made, and just of all of the different moments and special themes and just items that you've put into your script. It's really been a beautiful experience working on this with you. Can you introduce yourselves to our audience? You can tell us your name, your pronouns, and anything you'd like us to know about you.
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Adanna Paul, she, her, and I'm just so elated about being here right now. This process has been so exciting, and I'm just so grateful to you, Farah, and Keita, and just the entire team at YPT for this opportunity. So, yeah.
Thank you, Adanna. So before we take questions from our live audience, I do have some prepared questions for you. The first one I want to ask you is just what inspired you to write Matsuyanda?
Sure. So in the past, I've worked a lot with kids, and I've had friends who have as well. And I remember one of my friends had to do this training, basically to be able to recognize signs of child abuse. And since I work with kids as well, I was like, oh, that sounds like something interesting. Let me just go through this training with you. And some of the statistics and like figures they offered in that training were just really startling to me. Like it was something like 1 in 3 girls experiences sexual abuse and like 1 in 5 boys. And so just those numbers really got me thinking like, okay, this is something that I'd like to address in my work. And, that paired with a few other factors, in my personal life, having talked with peers who, have been open about, that sort of thing. And then even looking at public figures who have been open about those things, it just really got me, thinking about ways to sort of tell that story and also to highlight that story in ways that we don't typically think about it. For example, one of the things I wanted to really touch on is how the abuse isn't always what we think it would look like. I think we always think, oh, it's a stranger in a white van who the child, it doesn't know. But, most of the times it's someone the child knows. And then there's this whole population of children who have been victimized by other children, and that's just not something that is talked about. It's a difficult conversation because, you know, I mean, it's easier if it's an adult and it's like throw them in the slammer, but like with kids, like, you know, it's how do you handle that? And, you know, it's often people who have also been victims themselves. So I wanted to highlight that. I also wanted to talk about, you know, I have the small part about Mac sharing his story, and I wanted to talk about how it, you know, it happens to boys too. And it's not always a big, scary man who's the perpetrator. So yeah, just highlighting different aspects of it. And then the fact that the play takes place in, you know, a so-called good home. You know, I think a lot of times we think, oh, we think precious or something like that. But I just wanted to highlight how it's something that touches lots of people. So.
Thank you for that. Yeah, thank you for that explanation. Even though we've been talking about this piece, I didn't know the part about you speaking with your friend about the statistics of child abuse. And it's really woven in so well into this piece. And yeah, just congratulate you on being able to take such a scary topic on and use theater as a way to tell people more about it and to put a human face on such a specific type of story. I think you've done a great job at that. I also just want to highlight some of the comments that have happened in the chat. Our actors that were part of this, China Palmer's just said this was such an incredible piece to be a part of, and here the writing is so advanced. Was this non-linear format a part of the plan from the beginning or developed along the way? So yeah, we can actually address China's question.
Sure. Yes, I was always playing with a sort of non-linear format, and I think, you know, Farah and Kita could even address how the draft before this, it was very, very non-linear, confusingly non-linear. So, yeah, that's definitely something that was intentional. Whenever I write, I really like to just be more experimental. I like to do things that are interesting or, you know, just different from the traditional structure of plays. So yeah, definitely making it nonlinear was something that was always sort of a goal that I had.
Yeah, thank you for that. Our former board member, Ann Eigenman, hey Ann, says, congratulations, Adanna, what a powerful play with such beautiful language. I agree. I wonder, Adanna, how has working with the Young Playwrights in Progress program helped you move forward with this play and develop this play over the months?
Yeah. I just want to say it's just been so pivotal in this play getting anywhere, really. You know, when I came in, I said this was a piece that I had written that I really hadn't, you know, even though I've had plays workshopped in the past, I just hadn't done anything with this piece. This was just something I wrote and sat on. And actually, the original version was just like the first scene of the play. So it was just that little 8-minute snippet. And then from there, just YPT just, I guess, pushed me and like gave me just the drive to like really explore how far this story can go and to just build an entire world around it. Like I think in one of our first meetings, Farah, you were asking me questions about like environment and characters. I was just like, I don't know. Like this is I hadn't really thought about this. This was just a standalone thing. So yeah, just having that structure there played a huge role in lengthening it to become the piece that it is now. Yeah, what else? Yeah, I feel like I developed more of a process because of YPT, like, you know, just knowing what kind of writer I am came about because of YPT. Yeah, just a lot. It's really the driving force behind this whole thing.
Thank you. That warms my heart because that's why we're here. That's why YPT exists, to inspire young people to realize the power of their own voices. So seeing you talk about your voice and getting to know your voice more specifically is very moving for me. So thank you for sharing that. I also want to highlight, so Morgan Sharese Hall, who played Matsuyanda, said, thank you so much, Adanna. Thank you, Morgan, for bringing the role of Matsuyanda to life. We also have a comment from Marshall Bryant, such a powerful piece and so thought-provoking, amazing, Adanna.
Thank you, Marshall.
Yeah. Thank you, Marcel, for that comment. We have another question from China. China says, I know the process is never truly over, but has hearing it aloud sprouted any new ideas or changes you want to make for your next draft? Great question.
Oh yes, like so many. I was able to sit in on like the first reading, and during that even I had the copy of my script right next to me, and I was like making all sorts of notes in the margins about things to add and things to change. So yeah, 100%. It's made me think about the next drafts, and I think it really, like, hearing it aloud helped me to I guess sort of see gaps that I hadn't noticed before, or just hearing the actor's interpretation of certain things brought more layers to the characters that I hadn't even considered, and things that I might want to add in the future. So I just have like a whole list of, of things to add and things to change because of being able to hear it aloud.
Awesome. We have another question. We have one from Morgan. Morgan says, this play is so powerful, and I know I have been changed in this process. What are some discoveries that you have made during the process that you will take when we go live?
Some discoveries I've made. That's a tough one. Put me on the spot there. Let's see. Oh, I'm just like racking my brain because it really has been a lot. Like, I mean, I think. Oh, all the questions are coming in. Okay. I think I kind of, one big thing that stood out was just in, kind of relinquishing my power and like saying, okay, this is a collaborative effort now, from the beginning stages when we were editing and Farah was giving me feedback to, like, getting up to this point and having the actors put their own spin on things. I feel like I just, discovered that, it's okay to really allow that sort of teamwork and that infusion of different ideas to affect the work and what I do with it. Because yeah, I just feel like there were a lot of wonderful things that I realized that I don't think I would have gotten had I been just bogarting the piece and not sharing it and not getting feedback and not, just micromanaging or something. So
for sure. Morgan asks, what did you learn about yourself during this process that surprised you?
I think I learned that just how much like writing and story there is in me, like if that makes sense. Yeah, I know the turnaround between some of the later drafts was like super quick. It was like between like Christmas or like something like that, like between Thanksgiving and Christmas or something around there. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like there's so many changes that need to be made. How am I going to do this and still be able to get the message, my original message across? And yeah, there were a lot of rough writing sessions where I was just like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? But, I just gave myself room to try things and be creative. And I'd like to thank you for allowing me to have that freedom, Farah. Yeah. And yeah, I just I just realized that, okay, if you just give yourself room to do what you do, it'll work itself out. So
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. One thing the audience is not aware of is that Matsuyanda started out as a one-woman show.
Yes.
Hence the name Matsuyanda. Initially, your first draft was one actress playing Mata. And I'm wondering just what was the process like for you adding Momi as a character and putting a name to her, and just over these months, because she was not a character initially. And I just wonder, what was that like for you to not only add a character, but really just revamp the format of the story that you originally intended on writing?
Yeah. Well, I came in really open to trying things out and just seeing where things go. Like I wasn't very set on the direction in terms of format. So, we were discussing I guess different options and kind of brainstorming different ways that I could lengthen it and I guess just change the format so it's so it's a longer format, I guess. I thinking about the adding characters, of course, I didn't want to do, way too many, because there was something very, very nice about just having it be uh, just a kind of solitary thing at first. But then with adding the second person, I kind of realized this gives me the opportunity to just have a stage where two Black women get to interact together and embody all sorts of characters for 2 hours. And just that was just so exciting. Like I feel like it's rare to get to, it happens, but it is rare to get to just see us just do our thing. And so I just wanted to see what that dynamic was like. And I guess I wanted to show just how complex Black women are. Like, even though, of course, not all of the characters are Black women, it's like we have all of this in us. And as an actress myself, I wanted a piece as well where, we could have these powerful Black actresses showing the entire range of what they can do. So
Awesome. So initially when this program was designed, Young Playwrights in Progress was supposed to have live workshop readings. We were supposed to be, at Kennedy Center Page to Stage
yeah.
last Labor Day, which obviously did not happen. And this was meant to be a live workshop reading. So I'm wondering, experiencing your play in a virtual format, was it different for you? Was there anything that you gleaned from watching it in this format on YouTube, with seeing video editing and such, that would have been different, and how you can imagine just hearing it aloud with actors in a room?
Yeah. So I think this format kind of forced me to focus more on the language in a way that I think in person wouldn't have done. Like, um, I have so many stage directions. And of course, even in a reading, like, of course, it's not going to be everything, but I think, being able to see the actresses display some sort of physicality and just, be able to interact with each other in person, I think I maybe would have focused a little more on that. But yeah, when it's in this virtual format, I just feel like the language was and the themes were just really distilled. And in a way, I feel like it also enhanced some of the many stage directions I had, because of course I feel like if we were in a real venue, we couldn't have some of the transitions we had and like the sound cues. So I think it was also cool to be able to see it come together more than I think we would have gotten in a live situation.
Thank you. We have a comment slash question from Jennifer Ridgway. Jennifer says, reflection is so important. I applaud your courage to do so virtually. I'm interested in knowing what is next for you. Are there any other play ideas on the horizon?
Oh, yes, definitely. There's so many things that I am working on right now. I just have a whole slew of projects. One thing I kind of, along with, continuing to write plays, I definitely want to transition into screenwriting as well. So that's something that I've been focusing on throughout this whole pandemic era. And so, yeah, that's, continuing to write in the different formats and all the different formats.
Nice. China asks, I know the process is never truly over, but has hearing it aloud sprouted any new ideas or changes you want to make for your next draft?
Yeah, did I already answer this one or no?
I thought so, but maybe I'm tripping. I saw it highlighted on the screen. If not, I have another question for you. What or who inspires you as a playwright?
Yeah, so I feel like I'm definitely inspired by one, just work that that tackles unconventional topics or subjects that people don't really want to touch. So just whenever I see any kind of art that does that, I get very inspired. I'm inspired a lot by science fiction work and fantasy. So that's sort of why this piece is a little, it's about a doll come to life, because that's sort of a genre that a lot of my work lives in. Octavia Butler is one of my favorite writers. So I'm always inspired by that side of things. What else? Particularly with this piece, I got inspired by a lot of music. And that was one of the things that we discussed when I was developing to the point that it is now, was I had like references to music in there. And, Farah challenged me to explore, why that music was a part of it and ways that I might be able to incorporate some of those ideas, or just, I guess, sort of that like musicality into it. So, yeah, those are some of the things that inspire me.
Awesome. Do you have any questions for our live audience?
Yeah, I mean, I would just love to know if there are any questions that came up for them or anything that maybe was unclear to them in the play itself, like, yeah, just, or anything that they noticed.
Cool. While we give folks a few moments to type that in, we have a comment and question from Laura Webb. Laura says, thank you so much for sharing this with us, Adanna. Do you have any words of wisdom for aspiring playwrights or those who have written but have not yet shared their work?
Sure. Like, I just say, for aspiring playwrights, if you haven't really written yet, I would say just do it, just put words to paper. Like, that's one of I think the biggest hurdles I had early on, and something I have to remind myself of now, is to just write. It's not going to be perfect the first time around. In fact, it'll never be perfect. So it's okay to just sort of throw everything at the wall and like see what comes out. And then I think for people who have already started writing but haven't shared their work, like, go for it. Just, have confidence and faith in your abilities as a writer, and just submit. Like, I've definitely submitted to things, even if I was like, okay, I don't know if this is, necessarily what the level I'm at right now, but, I just got to put my feelers out there. So yeah, and then I definitely think, if you have any opportunities to workshop your writing, even in smaller settings, take advantage of those. Because, before this, I've done a number of like smaller scale workshops that just allowed me to have that experience of hearing my work aloud. So
Great advice. Jessica Wisser asks, what was your experience writing for Momi at different ages? It is such a powerful feature of this play.
Yeah, it was definitely something that was sort of challenging at times, because I want it to be believable and authentic. So I'm just like, okay, what would what would she sound like at this age? And there's just so many developments that come as a person matures. So, you know, I wanted to, I guess I wanted to effectively capture. It's like, you know, I might be writing her as 6 for one scene and then, you know, jump forward and then she's 18 and then you got to go back to the 6-year-old voice and just remember like what kind of developmental stage I had her at. So yeah, it was definitely a challenge, but you know, throughout I just sort of was able to think about, I guess, my real life experiences of people of different ages. You know, I definitely thought about like young family members I have and like, okay, what kind of speech patterns do they use? What kind of words they use? And yeah, and I sort of did that with every age to just kind of better capture that language.
Awesome. Anne says, your language is so assured with these complex characters. Kudos.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. Another question I have for the audience. I know folks haven't had a full chance to put in responses to Adanna's question, is just what themes or moments really stood out to you? So I was sharing with Adanna before we went live, the soap opera scene really does it for me in a way that I didn't expect until we were editing it. And our video editor, once he put that soap opera music behind the dialogue, I was like, my God, this is so funny and dark. Like, you know, so that was a moment that really stood out to me. And then there was also the scene where where Mata is the chain master. And that monologue of I tried to be beautiful, but I found ugly, like it brings tears to my eyes every time. And I just wonder, where do a lot of these ideas come from? Like, you know, we've spoken a lot about music. I know in a lot of our sessions, we've even spent time listening to music and watching music videos and talking about color. And I'm wondering, how did those things influence just the rich language that you put into your text?
Yeah, I think what I love about taking inspiration from music is I feel like it just really infuses a sort of feeling that I want to capture. So I don't know, like for some reason I'm just able to almost I don't want to say leech, but just sort of leech off of those feelings, and it just helps me kind of transmute it into this written form. Um, like I'm trying to think. I know um, one of the songs I was working with early on was "Nights" by Frank Ocean, and you know, there's just it's a whole story in and of itself. That song, it just it kind of it's also kind of non-linear in a way that it's you know, going through these different stages. And so I feel like that's just an example of how, you know, I was listening to that song and analyzing it and you know, trying to imbue some of that into my own work as well. So hope that answers the question sort of.
For sure it does. Tishan says the scary story scene for me was pivotal. It was the moment that defined the rest of Momi's life, and I felt that. I did too. I really did. And just that repetition of the up and down, and how young people can be socialized to ignore their trauma, you know, based upon the adults in their lives and how they respond to it. It was just such a pivotal scene. And almost, you know, for me as a parent, a cautionary tale, you know, of how do you respond to the things that your children say to you. And I just applaud you for taking something that seems abstract and giving it such a deep meaning. I'm wondering, just what conversations do you want the audience to have after experiencing your play?
I definitely want people to, I guess, just take a better look at the way that they interact with each other, and definitely the way they interact with their children. For any, you know, parents in the audience, like I feel like that sort of that dynamic between Momi and her mom was something I've really been working on and something I'll continue to like hammer out in the coming drafts. And I guess it's just like, it is particularly like in this type of scenario, it is difficult. It's difficult subject matter. And I think if anyone were faced with a situation like that in real life, it is sort of like, okay, what do you do there? So I guess I want people to start thinking, okay, what do you do? I mean, hopefully, of course, we pray that the worst never happens, but I guess I just want this to be there. Yeah, I guess it's sort of a cautionary tale and just sort of a jumping off platform for people to start thinking, okay, how can we address this thing that a lot of people choose to ignore? And I don't think it's always malicious or anything, but it is, it's a tough thing. So yeah, inspiring people to just open up a dialogue about it in general.
Mm-hmm. So we are in the midway point of your progress in Young Playwrights in Progress. And I'm wondering just what do we have to look forward to? So we have our next workshop reading coming up in May. So for those who enjoyed this experience, we really hope that you continue to follow Adanna's journey, not only just in May, but Adanna's basically creates video diaries after each of our meetings. You can see those on YPT's channel as well, just to be able to chart her progress. So I'm wondering just what themes or things are you excited about to work on as we progress toward your second workshop reading?
What themes?
What themes or moments or, even just ideas. I know there was the reference to Momi's different ages, and you mentioned gaps that you saw. Is that something that you'd like to work on? Is it more so infusing the elements of music even more, or color? And this might be a question that you don't have the answer to yet. It's more so me selfishly like, what are we going to talk about next month?
No. Yeah, I definitely want to, the musicality is something that I'll continue to explore. I feel like I find, new things each time I read my play or listen to it. I also think I want to add a little bit more to some of the more like surreal scenes, I guess. There's actually one in particular that I have, but it wasn't fully formed, so I didn't include it in this draft. So that's something that I'm going to add. And then, like I was saying earlier about continuing to hammer out that relationship between Momi and the mother character. I want to work on that more. And just, I don't know, I guess maybe continue to give the mother character life even, and just add more layers to that. So yeah, those are a couple of things.
I can't wait to just continue to see where this play goes. And I congratulate you again. I applaud you. I thank you for just your bravery in telling this story and just how successfully you've done it. For everyone who's attending live, I also want to thank you for being here with us. If you enjoyed this experience tonight, please know that we have another experience tomorrow and on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. With our second Young Playwrights in Progress playwright, Savannah S. Miller, with the premiere of her live workshop reading of her play, The House. Also, we'd like to continue the conversation beyond tonight. So feel free to leave your comments and feedback under this video or the virtual workshop reading video. Also, to learn more about the Young Playwrights in Progress program, and to mark your calendars for Adanna's final virtual reading in May, please visit the website that you see highlighted in the comments on YouTube. And yeah, I just want to thank everybody, especially you, Adanna, and I hope that everybody stays well and safe, and appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in and being present in the development of this young playwright. So thank you all. Take care and good night.